knockout 8-3 winners against India. Both teams are desperate to win this title again, so it'll make for a dramatic final. In the coming weeks, we'll also have the conclusion to the men's singles tournament from the semi-finals onwards, with 4 men left standing in the hunt to be crowned champion of the world. And Steve Daking is back again this week with another masterclass and an insight into the tactics of the game. Expect drama, top quality pool action and big celebrations as Ireland take on the reigning world champions England. In order to host a fantastic event, you need a great venue. We caught up with General Manager of the Imperial Hotel, Alison Gilmore, to find out why these World Championships are so important to the Puma Hotel Group.
Well, it's the kudos of having it here. It's just fantastic. It's kind of a 10-day event for us, which just fills us out for July. In terms of Blackpool, shows Blackpool in a brilliant light as well. We've hosted it now for a number of years, and every year gets more and more exciting. It's just great to have them with us. Well, they love Blackpool as a destination because when they're not playing, they can get out and see a bit of the town, and we just enjoy having them. We work together with the Europeans as well as the World Championships. It's just electric, it's unbelievable. You can't believe these guys and girls are so good at what they do. It's just incredible. They make it look so easy. It's just wonderful. I can't wait for the final.
Ladies and gentlemen,
no need to wait any longer. It's time for the final and the first team to be announced to the TV arena at Team Ireland. Runners-up last year, winners the year before that. These guys are on a mission to win back the World Championship title, and they've got the players to do it, as well as bags of passion and fight. What would it mean to them if today was their day?
Everything. Personally, to me, I'm absolutely mad to win it. I've never won it before, so it's a huge achievement if we do it. You get a chance to win every game, and you either take them or you don't. We didn't take them last year.
In their way, though, are the mighty Team England. What else can be said about this all-conquering lineup? They've been this year's favourites for the title, as Captain Lee Kendall leads a wealth of talent into battle, and as current world champions, confidence is high.
These are special championships. I've been in every one, so I think I'm the only player left that's been to every championships. England has always done well. We've been in most of the finals, and you know it's the event that every player wants to play in. There's always pressure every time we come in. Everybody says we're the favourites to win, so we're used to holding that. It'll be tough, but I'm sure the lads will be up for it.
So it's time for the lag to decide who'll be breaking first in this World Championship final. And it looks like Team England have edged it. First up, we've got Rob Warne versus the Irish captain Stephen Dempsey. Time now to pass you over to your commentators Mark Shepherd and Dave Hendon.
So England versus Ireland in the final. Rob Warne to get us underway. And this really could be a final to savour. No great surprise these two teams have got through. In fact, England have been in every final in this team event.
Last two champions as well. Ireland 2 years ago, England last year. Been the two form teams for the past few years. The tournament, in the group stages, England on that occasion prevailed. Not by much though, so Ireland certainly won't have been dispirited by that.
England won 8-1 in their semi-final, Ireland 8-3. I think most people would expect this to be a little closer.
As you see him walking around the table, he looks so composed, Rob Warne, but he and a number of the other guys were saying backstage how nervous they were coming out. This is a big occasion for everyone.
Yes, calm before the storm, everyone quiet at the moment. That won't stay that way for long, I wouldn't have thought.
This is something we haven't seen a lot of in the team competition. Good break by Rob Warne, and it looks like he may be about to take this clearance out. We almost take it for granted in the singles matches that we'll see several clearances from the break. So much harder to replicate in this team format where you only have one go at it. One difficulty for Rob Warren is the black, which, although it's near the middle pocket, is too close to the cushion to pot. This may not be a bad opportunity to try and knock it out. That's good thinking. It's done all the hard work now. Drop this one into the right hand middle. First frame of the match. How much would Rob Warren like to start with a clearance?
Well, he couldn't have played it any better, could he, that shot to just chip the black out. What a confident start this is for Rob Warren. This is laying down a marker. Yeah. Clench fist. He knows he won't miss this. Yeah. Great start for England. Rob Warren clears up and they lead 1-0.
The perfect start for Rob Warren and Team England. Stephen Dempsey denied the opportunity to leave his chair. Into frame 2, and it was Jack Popal versus Carl O'Donoghue. Carl broke and was in at the table on the reds until, while trying to develop the reds, he went in off. Over to Jack, and he made his way through the yellows with a shot in hand still. He used it to get the 8-ball down. A great start from England, and Ireland will need to respond. Into frame 3, and England's 2012 World Singles champion John Rowe is called upon. He's up against Declan Hough. John was at the table, but an uncharacteristic loose shot would see Declan given an opportunity. He opted for safety first, which saw the pair exchange defensive shots. The more decisive, though, coming from Rowe, which gave him a chance to clear up. Did he take it, though? No was the answer. It was another bad miss from John, which meant Declan was given the initiative once again. Ireland on the board then, and very happy about it too. We move into frame 4 now. Gavin Lomax versus Matt O'Hara. Time to get back to your commentators with Matt O'Hara at the table and on his last yellow.
Yeah, the Irish team shouting just one good shot, and that's exactly what he needs here. This is a very simple pot. It's got to be a little bit careful. Not absolutely guaranteed position on the black. And that's been the first heavy-handed shot we've seen from him. It's been really smooth on the cue through the rest of the break. Just had a bit of a rush of adrenaline there. Hit that ball far too hard.
I think that's exactly what it was. And it's understandable in a way. So close to winning the frame.
And from a relatively simple pot, he's faced with the choice of a very difficult cut into the right hand middle, or I think probably more likely he'll try and double the ball across the table. Well, he's missed that by a long way. Wasn't the most straightforward shot. From where he was, you'd expect him to have got relatively close to a double there.
He was looking so good, wasn't he, Matt O'Hara, but just went wrong towards the end, lost ideal position on the black. He's not potted it. You heard the cries from the England team as Gavin Lomax comes to the table. He looked for a moment like he wouldn't get a shot in this frame.
Yeah, I think he'll be surprised to be back at the table. In all honesty, he shouldn't have had a shot. As is so often the case, though, if you put all of your balls and miss the black, you get into this frustrating game of cat and mouse where you constantly find yourself in a snooker. Fairly easy escape off the left-hand side cushion here. What he really needs to do is try and knock the black as close to the pocket as possible. Obviously, in an absolutely dream world, he'd like to pot it, but if you can at least get it somewhere near the top right-hand corner pocket, that will put some pressure on Gavin Lomax. I suppose you're entitled to play it at that pace. He was thinking that there was a chance of potting it. I might have been inclined to play it a little bit slower than that and try and give yourself a bit more of an opportunity to hit it. Gavin Lomax doesn't need asking twice though. Practically raced to the table. First ball disappeared in no time at all. And hard, frankly, to see him missing from here. the England team tend to have a lot of positives to take away from. A particular positive this year will be the performance of the three debutants that we've seen. Rob Warren, Gavin Lomax and Andy Lakin really played their part so far.
Well, this would be a real sickener for Matt O'Hara and Ireland, who looked to certainty a moment ago to level at 2-2. It would be an early blow for England to strike. Just affects the whole psychological balance of this final.
Horrible feeling for Matt O'Hara. Did so much of the hard work, just fell that tiny bit short. But for all the world, may as well not have done any of the hard work. Just the faintest glimmer of hope. Gavin Lomax has finished up much closer to this ball than he wanted to. Still got the 2 shots in hand though, so no major difficulty.
Second visit.
Won't be delighted to have left himself this, just a tiny bit more difficult than he needed to. You can see from that angle it's a relatively tight cut. Negotiated with ease though.
A chance that he surely thought he wasn't going to get. Matt O'Hara looked to certainty to win this frame, just didn't get on the black as intended. And it's the black that Gavin Lomax knocks in to give England a 3-1 lead.
A missed opportunity then for Ireland. Can they fight back? We'll find out after the break here on Sky Sports.
I've earned my world titles by fighting the best.
This is now my time. It's just me and him.
No one else. No one else. No one else.
Froch v Groves, coming soon on Sky Sports box office. Order now, press the green button or see skysports.com/FrochGroves.
Meet the jacket, say hello, take a seat and watch him go. I thought you'd need an hour at least, you fluffy, tasty super feast. But no, in just 5 minutes time, before I'd even found a rhyme for done or quick or brisk or wow or yum 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 or holy cow. The tick had topped and on the plate an hour's worth of something great. The oven bakey tasty jacket, and out it comes of this nice packet. McCain, happy days.
Peggy 18.
Only on Xbox One.
With the powerful new Dyson Digital Motor V6, spinning at 110,000 RPM. 2-tier radial cyclones. And the latest motorised cleaner head, with carbon fibre filaments for fine dust. The new Dyson Digital Slim Vacuum sucks up as much dust as even a corded vacuum. Not bad for a lightweight.
1, 2, 3.
Baby, if you've got to go away, I don't think I can take the pain. Won't you stay another day? Oh, don't leave me alone like this. Don't say it's the final kiss. Won't you stay?
Doritos, for fun, at a little Mexican.
Yonderland is finally here. Yes! And it's going down a storm. Don't miss the next part of Debbie's quest.
Have you ever heard of sexism?
I'm looking right at it.
The adventure continues Sunday at 6:30 on Sky 1 HD. Or catch up now on demand.
Your home of sport.
Welcome back to the World Eightball Pool Championships here in Blackpool as this team final moves into the 5th frame. It was England captain Lee Kendall up against Ronan Fay, and it was Lee that surrendered an early advantage with this long miss. Ronan started to knock down the yellows, although he didn't put enough power into a shot which left him in no position to pot the yellow on the cushion. That left Ronan with little option other than to play a defensive shot. But with so many reds left on the table, Lee Kendall was back in control and looking to finish off the frame for his country. He did just that, and England went 4-1 up. Into the 6th frame now, and it's Carl Sutton versus David Burns. We join the frame with Burns in full control. Your commentators are Mark Shepherd and Dave Hendon.
Well, we're at a point here where I suggest Ireland can't afford too many more mistakes. 4-1, this very strong England team leads, so they're halfway to victory already.
And this is the important shot in this clearance. This red is quite well protected by yellows. The final one just needs to make sure he doesn't snooker himself in playing this. He hasn't snookered himself, but not absolutely prime position. For a moment it looked like he could be in trouble, but just glancing off the side of that yellow allowed the white to come through. Where's the red going though? Good pot, but because the potting angle was so thin, he never really had any control over where the white was going. And with so many yellows left on the table, there was always this danger of running into one of them. You see there, complete obstruction lies between him and the black. Not very easy to see how he's going to leave this safe. Easy enough to hit the black, he can just go up and down the table or on and off the side cushion, but these yellows are so well scattered around, it's very hard to imagine he's not going to leave one. He decided to play it with that much pace, basically just in the hope of fluking the black. Now he's not done that though. Carl Sutton's been gifted the 2 visits that you would think he would need to clear up.
Yes, it's almost like a rerun of the frame we saw between Gavin Lomax and Matt O'Hara, where O'Hara came very close to winning it, but in the end it went England's way.
So often what matters in a frame of pool is what you do at the end, not what you do at the beginning. Unfortunately for Ireland, they've started several frames so promisingly, but just these costly little mistakes as they've got down to the last ball or onto the black. It's been what's gifted England much easier opportunities.
Yes, it could well turn out this final to be a really close match that has quite a heavy scoreline. Frames are close, but all that matters is the scoreline, and this is a chance for 5-1.
And this just exemplifies how much easier it is if you're the second person to come to the table. Now his opponent's done all the hard work, cleared all the reds out the way. The clearance that Carl Sutton's faced with is just so much more straightforward.
Remember, England have won this title 15 times. They are the team to beat, no question about it. They have a lot of quality players who didn't make the team. But Carl Sutton made it, and he's determined here to increase the lead. It would put them just 3 frames away from victory.
And that's the difference between the two teams. You get the feeling that whenever an England player comes to the table, they just expect to clear up. That's just what they do. Whereas when the Irish lads are coming to the table, there seems to be some element of hope. They do all the right things, but sometimes hard to convert it.
David Burns was close. Didn't get on this black. Cole Sutton has cleared up. And England even further in front now. 5-1 their lead.
England racing ahead here in this World Championship team final. Ireland desperately need to respond. Frame 7, and it's Ben Flack up against the experienced David McQuillan.
Well, the match hasn't been one-sided in terms of the frames, but the scoreline is England lead 5-1. Ben Flack hoping to continue the run for the English.
This format of pool almost has the feeling of a penalty shootout about it. Each player gets one opportunity to step up to the table, one opportunity to put a score on the board for their team.
Well, England don't win many penalty shootouts at football, but maybe at pool it could be their year once again. David McQuillan will be hoping it turns out a different way.
Bags of experience to call on David McQuillan. Long-time player on the UK tour, Premier League player last year.
Every time you approach this shot, you've got to think, what are the percentages? Do I fancy this pot? Is there a chance I can pot it? Or is it better to try and force them to make the mistake? And the mistakes do happen under the pressure. So it can be worth just biding your time.
Thanks, Steve. Back to the action then, and David McQuillan is still at the table and in control.
Can he finish the job? Because a couple of his compatriots have got close to doing that, but weren't quite able to seal the deal. And Ireland really need David McQuillan to do that in this frame.
Still thinking clearly, it would have been quite easy just to pot that ball thinking that any kind of shot on this yellow was good enough. But he's played really nice position, which means that he can get even closer to the final yellow. A little bit more difficult than he'd like. If the cue ball was just an inch or so further out into the middle of the table, it would make this much more straightforward. But you still expect him to pot it. That's a beautiful shot. At this stage of the game, it's far from easy.
Well, the Irish team have been pretty quiet of late. I suspect there will be a roar if this goes in. There it is. David McQuillan keeps the final alive. England now lead 5-2.
A big frame for Team Ireland, and just before the interval, is this the start of a comeback? Into frame 8 then, and it was Darren Price versus David McQuillan. David straight back into the action. This frame was a defensive one, with David managing to come out on top. His confidence was high from the previous frame, and he worked his way through the yellows and 8-ball to put another frame on the scoreboard for Ireland. England's lead cut to only 2 at 5-3. Frame 9, and it was Rob Warne up against Carl O'Donoghue. Rob was at the table and looking good. Could he repeat his first frame heroics? No, a bad miss meant Carl had an opportunity. And he took it. The lead was cut to only 1 frame, and that's how much it meant to the Irishman. Frame 10, and it was Gavin Lomax versus Ireland's captain Stephen Dempsey, who broke and made a great start to the frame. He worked his way through all the reds and, like a true captain, led from the front. Ireland drawing this championship match level at 5 apiece. Into frame 11, and it was John Rowe that got things underway. Unfortunately for John though, he went in off the break. Ronan Fay didn't need a second invite and with an extra shot made his way through the balls. Fay finished off the 8-ball and celebrated in some style. For the first time in this World Championship final, Ireland lead England 6 frames to 5. So can England respond to this Irish fight back? Will Ireland keep this momentum going and finish the match off? Find out after the break, right here on Sky Sports.
Turn the rugby world upside down.
This is an invitation.
Xbox on.
To a new generation, where your games and entertainment
Xbox got to Star Trek Into Darkness
are together in one. The all-in-one Xbox One.
With the powerful new Dyson Digital Motor V6 spinning at 110,000 RPM. 2-tier radial cyclone.
4 times the detail of Full HD. The new Sony 4K TV.
Peggy 3.
Forza Motorsport 5. Only on Xbox One.
Great movies grab hold of you and never let go.
Be brave! Honor the king!
Give us free!
Have you no fear, English? My fear is my concern.
To upgrade, go to skymovies.com/admovies.
Welcome back to the World 8-Ball Pool Championships here in Blackpool. This is the men's team final and it's time to see what happened in frame 12. Declan Hoff versus Jack Popel. It was Declan that broke but nothing dropped, so it was over to Jack. The Englishman was making his mark on the frame and getting through the yellows. But a failed attempt at a double halted his progress and handed the initiative back to Hoff. Declan used tactics to cover the pockets, and it was that which eventually gave him the advantage he was looking for. But you can't always account for where the cue ball ends up. In this case, the corner pocket. With an extra shot, it wasn't long before Jack had finished the yellows and was bearing down on the 8-ball. England tie things up at 6-all, and as the match headed into frame 13, it's England captain Lee Kendall to go up against Ireland's Matt O'Hara. O'Hara is at the table with 2 yellows left, and it's time to get back to your commentators Mark Shepherd and Dave Hendon.
Matt O'Hara, who came so close to winning his earlier frame against Gavin Lomax, can make amends here.
30 seconds.
That's an excellent shot. I'd loved it to have run an inch or two further, so he had a simple shot into the left middle, but did really well to get the ball out. Left himself a double.
Really committed himself there, didn't he? Which he had to do. Couldn't be hesitant on that shot.
No, there was no second prize. There was no advantage to playing a safety, there was no advantage to trying to be cautious. He just had to go for it.
Yes, man. Yes, man. That's good. Come on, Harley. Come on, man. Come on.
Having come so close in his last frame, this black stands between Matt O'Hara and redemption.
Well, they're all giving him plenty of encouragement, but he's the one who's got to try and knock it in. A lot of pressure on this.
Just got to trust his cueing, keep everything still, slowly roll this across the table.
Yeah, there was pressure on it. 6-all in the final. It wasn't guaranteed, and it didn't go in.
The game's all about fine margins, and it doesn't come much finer than that. Inch or two away, just a little bit firm as well. Could have been such a different story. If that had gone in, we'd have been talking about what a great clearance it was and how Ireland were within one frame of victory. As it is, the England captain has a chance to take his team to the brink.
Yes, and there's no steadier hand, is there, in either team than Lee Kendall, all the experience he has. The captain steps up then.
Such a unique pressure playing in front of all of these people and in front of the television cameras. Nobody more experienced in either team doing exactly that. Time after time, Lee Kendall's delivered the goods when required.
Well, frame one, you'd say it would be a certainty.
These two have already played once in this match. Cole Sutton won on that occasion. David Burns will desperately be hoping to change that. He's achieved the first part, potting a ball. In fact, it's a good break when you see it from above. The ball's all moving out in a uniform way. Got a lot of power into the pack.
Well, losing the last frame the way they did was a real sickener for the Irish team, but we know what fighters they are. Burns with the first chance in this frame.
Potted a red off the break, but decided that the yellows were the better option, thanks largely to the cluster down in the bottom right-hand corner of the table. Dearly love to take this to a decider, as would all the neutrals in the crowd. It's been a great match. England got a long way ahead. Ireland pulled it back. Be only fitting to go all the way, I think, Dave.
Absolutely. Although England, I suspect, want to win 8-6, but it's David Burns here with a chance.
That was pretty unlucky. Played a clever shot to try and cannon out the difficult balls on the right hand side and managed to find a path between all of them. Well, it wasn't an easy ball by any means. Appeared to hit it just a little bit too hard. Bit of adrenaline creeping in. Who can blame him?
Is pressure going to be a factor in this showdown? Find out what happens after the break right here on Sky Sports.
Down, round and round. Maybe you'll meet him, her, perhaps them. Maybe it will rain, you'll shelter here, and this will happen. But maybe it won't rain. You'll go there and fall in love with this. Stories are waiting.
Available to rent now.
New York, 1922. The tempo of the city approached hysteria.
You must know Gatsby.
Gatsby?
I wonder where the devil he met is.
I'm certainly glad to see you again.
What kind of a row? You trying to cause in my house? Mr. Gatsby, exactly who are you?
You can't repeat the past.
Of course you can.
The Great Gatsby. Available to rent now from $3.49 in Sky Store.
Welcome back to the World Eightball Pool Men's Team Final. We rejoin the action with Ireland's David Burns back at the table and looking to take it to a deciding frame.
Well, an enormous effort is what's needed now by David Burns. Nothing his teammates can do except shout their encouragement from the sidelines. It's down to him to take us to a decider.
Yellow at the top of the table goes past the red. No real problem there. It's all about getting good position on the black. And this is David Burns' chance. Plays one good positional shot here. Leaves himself any kind of mid-range shot at the black. It's a chance to put his team in a deciding frame.
And his colleagues getting excited. This final, you feel, deserves a decider.
30 seconds.
And it looks like we're going to get one. What an effort this is from David Burns to hold himself together under this pressure.
Wait for the roar from the Irish lads if this goes in. The kind of noise you haven't heard before. All the wild celebration so far will be nothing compared with a chance to get within one frame of victory.
30 seconds. Come on, Bournesy. Come on, Debbie. Come on, baby. Come on.
It's in, and we're going all the way to a deciding frame finish. What a great effort from David Burns. It's 7-all.
What drama. We're going down to the wire, the deciding frame. England's Ben Flack up against the relative inexperience of Ireland's Terry Parker. Back to your commentators.
So the world title rests on this final frame. Ben Flack to break for England. Well, we saw at the end of that last frame, after David Burns won it for Ireland, the team trying to get Terry Parker ready for this decider. What pressure mark on Terry.
What a moment. You can't even begin to imagine what he must be going through. It's his debut in a World Championship final. It's his debut on television. He cannot have imagined when he was put down on the team sheet that he would be facing this situation. I'm sure Ireland, when they were putting the order down, just thought they'd get the strongest players out first. At that point, they were a long way down when they'd have done the second part of the order at half-time. To come out now with the chance in your first frame to win the World Championships, absolutely incredible.
That's assuming, of course, he gets a chance. Ben Flack made a good start here.
And what a gulf of experience between the players. Ben Flack, we were talking early on about how he's the man in form. Recent tour winner, been in the last 3 tour finals, been in the England team for several years and won several tournaments. Been there and done absolutely everything. And despite that though, just like wobbling his hand there, still slight nerves, and he wouldn't be feeling some pressure.
Yes, it's not just that it's a decider, it's the atmosphere as well. We heard the cheer there from the Irish side when they won that last frame. A real tense finish to a high quality final.
It's a very fitting scoreline. It's been a great final. Both teams have really played their part. Completely right that it should go to this deciding frame. And such a cliche, but how unfortunate it is that there has to be a loser.
Well, it will certainly seem harsh on Terry Parker if he doesn't get a shot in this decider.
It's the kind of situation where you're desperately hoping to come to the table, but at the same time for Terry Parker there must be a degree of trepidation if he does come to the table, knowing what he's going to face.
Absolutely, it's the biggest frame of his life, isn't it? What pressure on him, not just playing for himself of course, but for his country.
Ben Flack negotiating that potential banana skin well. That was a slightly more difficult positional shot than he might have left himself. He's done the important thing pretty nicely on this penultimate red. Even under utmost of pressure, you see the consistency of Ben Flack's technique. He didn't look like he was going to miss that. Unfortunately for him, the position has turned out all wrong. Suddenly, from a very presentable opportunity, he's left a really awkward last red.
Worried faces there as well, watching on the England team.
Just caught the wrong side of the red there. He was trying to cannon it, but if he'd just clipped off the right-hand side, he'd have knocked it towards the left-hand corner pocket and he'd have had a simple shot. As it was, he just slipped round the wrong side.
Come on, Terry. Come
So, Terry Parker, this is your moment. First visit to the table. 7 yellows, all in possible positions, and the black stand between him and the world title. Dave, I think you might imagine that given the nerves he'd feel, he'd want to slow down and take his time, but he's having none of it so far, practically raced to the table.
Well, all the excitement is out there, isn't it? The team looking on. It's very hard to be calm. It would be, frankly, for anyone, but certainly someone in his position coming in new to play this decider.
See the fear etched on the faces of his teammates. One of those situations where...
But for the 16th time, England are the world champions. The celebrations can begin. My word, they had to work for it. Ben Flack finally bringing them home. What a dramatic, thrilling, brilliant final it was. I think he's happy, don't you?
A World Championship final for the history books. Congratulations to Team England, but it could so easily have gone the other way. Ireland distraught. Ben Flack in the end held his nerve to make it back-to-back titles for England. Let's get to the presentation.
The World Eightball Pool Champions 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Team England.
Amazing. I mean, I thought we were lost. I mean, we were 2 balls away from losing, and 2 great teams battling it out. And every year, you know, both teams come to this championship trying to win it. We are the 2 favourite teams, and what a great team they are. I knew they were going to push us all the way, and you know, on another day they should have won. But you know, you need a little bit of luck.
Yeah, as you say, a great final takes 2 great teams, and Ireland did do their part today, didn't they?
Yeah, we were 5-2 up at the interval, and I swapped the teams round and put Benny at the end, thinking, you know, if it came to it, hoping it didn't. But you know, they're a great team, and every year they come back stronger and stronger, and I'm sure they'll be world champions again. They've done it, I think, twice, and they could win many more.
Well, Lee and England, once again, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's it for the men's team competition then, but make sure you join us next time for the men's singles championships right here on Sky Sports.